Throughout my childhood, I rarely struggled in school. I naturally succeeded in standardized testing and was labeled a gifted child. However, I increasingly had this underlying sentiment that the education system was unchallenging and somewhat lackluster. This mentality largely attributed to my laziness and mediocrity in my teenage years. Nevertheless, I maintained my grades in high school and got into college fairly easily. However, in college, I began feeling inadequate and not as bright minded as I'd felt before, due to the realization that I now had to apply myself and never had developed any studying skills. Additionally, I felt as though I was on this academic conveyor belt, mindlessly going to school because it was what I had always done. It was something at which I intuitively excelled, but there was no love for learning or joy in my heart anymore, and I began taking Vyvanse as a way to cope with my ADHD and lack of motivation. While this medication was prescribed to me, I feel as if I abused this drug in the sense that I became overdependent on it for any amount of accomplishment. And I believe that children and adults with ADHD should learn management skills rather than take amphetamines to achieve their success. Ultimately, this caused my educational journey to come to a screeching halt. When I quit college, I felt incredibly lost and out of touch with myself, because it was though my identity was really interconnected with academia, but I also felt like it was a mask that was given to me to wear. I spent the next year discovering myself, both the good and bad parts. I find that irrespective of attending school, the desire to learn is innate within us all or within myself, and I cannot escape the feeling of wanting to be immersed in something greater than myself. I also could see the many ways which I had sabotaged myself due to a fear of failure and a lack of confidence. For years, I blamed my own mediocrity on the pitfalls of the education system and minimal adversity that I had faced in my childhood. However, at some point, you have to be held accountable for your actions and your own future. Throughout this journey of self-discovery, I could never sever ties with academia. This longing led me to recount positive memories that I had in school, specifically in the gifted program as a child. It was the only place that fueled my creativity, ignited this spark of learning and discovery in me. I realized that I don't actually want to escape the education system. Instead, I want to be a part of changing it for the better. Since returning to school, I have, for the first time, genuinely applied myself and not diminished any of my accomplishments, regardless of how small they may seem. I think that taking time to cultivate your ideas and goals helps motivate you because you're inspired by something more profound than any influential external forces. In other words, nobody has to make you study or make good grades when you feel an immense desire to learn and achieve success, and nobody can take that drive and achievement away from you. In the end, I am the person in charge of my life and my future, and I want to be a part of systemic change in the education system. I think that there is too much focus on grades rather than the real importance of love for learning. Children should be excited about their academic journey and should never feel discouraged for learning differently. As a child, you're distinguished for being unique and at the same time are punished if you don't adhere to universal standards. Moreover, these exceptional little minds, people with ADHD and autism, or people who just learn differently, are labeled as stupid, weird, or disruptive. And then often these children are medicated instead of being encouraged to embrace their individuality, which really burns out their fire for learning and their ability to develop practical studying skills. People cannot embrace the idea of individuality while also placing universal standards on children. Humanity is brilliant because of multiplicity. The scientists and the artists, the logicians, the musicians, and the teachers and the students all have their place and importance in society. Because every person is special, everyone should learn differently. And I really hope that my unique educational perspective can help me become a better teacher who can accommodate and encourage a plethora of diverse students and outlooks, because our future really depends on them.